Hi, I'm Peter Haddock, and I'm here at the CPA conference with Asif. Asif, we've been trying to talk about the industry for some time now, and I've managed to grab you here. You're one of the panelists on the core discussion here about the challenges the industry faces. And there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about. First of all, you are a big focus on technology and how we drive forward in the industry, bringing technology together and how that can be used for the betterment of the industry. Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on that sort of area.
Yeah, I remember coming into the industry in 2002, Peter, and I remember sitting down and trying to understand the business that I joined at the time, and we didn't have the basics that you would expect to have. And having come from outside the industry, that industry had everything. It had an extranet, it had online ordering, and so on. And all of a sudden, it was a time to reflect and say, okay, how do we bring technology in? How do we utilize it to our advantage? And then we started pioneering things like the extranet, looking at personal digital assistants in whatever guise they were in at the time, because they're quite bulky, and now you can do it on a small phone. And so looking at all those things, and I think we've come a long way, but we're still not where we need to be. And I think areas like artificial intelligence are now coming to the forefront, and that will play a big part in the second half of this decade, I'm sure, and beyond. But it's a case of, okay, having the technology but applying it in the best way. So if you look at a lot of the businesses within our industry now, they are adopting some good tech. But also, there's a lot of successful businesses that don't have that tech. So if you look at some of the mama and papa shops, they're equally as successful, very profitable, but they don't have that technology. So it's a case of looking at which technologies will suit your business and applying them in the right way.
And this comes back to the people piece, and I know, but from following you and speaking to you many times, the balls piece that you did was all about generating a people-led business and also having that people connection. And I think that's really important as we move forward in an industry, because we've got all these things that are going to come around. So that is a reskilling opportunity and a challenge, but also getting the right people to understand how cool our industry is as well is really important, isn't it?
Absolutely. For me, it's all about the people. Having great equipment, it should be a given.
Absolutely.
And it's no different to your next competitors. But actually, it's the people who make sure that equipment gets to the right place at the right time in the right way. So for me, there's a number of things. So you talked about a company that I'm with at the moment, and what we did over the last 4 years was create a culture. So if you look at, for example, I'll use an analogy. So if you look at fish and you want to make sure fish survive, you don't look after the fish, you look after the ecosystem in which the fish reside. And I think it's that kind of approach and ethos that I've put into this business, which is create an environment for people to be the best that they can be. And you know what that means? That you might have to accept the odd mistake. For every one mistake somebody makes, they'll make 9 good decisions. They'll explore more. They'll have a feeling of commitment and having the ability to make an impact, but then celebrating success. So you create that kind of culture, it creates momentum. So for me, the people piece is one of the biggest, and that's why this business has gone from strength to strength now. I think that's true of any organisation. The key thing is to attract the right future leaders of our business. So I know at the CPA, they've got the CPA Stars of the Future. It's great to see that event, and we always support it. And I think that's key. But equally, it's not just about early careers, it's about managing existing people within your businesses and say, okay, how can we enable them to do more if they want to, but also late careers. So managing people colleagues who have been in our businesses for a longer period, but now they want to have a different kind of work-life balance, and therefore they might be suited to a different role. So it's about understanding your people, and you can only do that, in my opinion, when you engage with them and understand, and for them not to feel a target if they have that kind of conversation.
And I think it's like an inclusive conversation, and also empowering is what you're saying there, them to come up with ideas, to challenge themselves, and also to talk to the customers and give that level of support. We talk about things like uptime with machines and things and technology, but again, it's the mechanics that are out in the field that are sorting that out. We talk about training and safety, the systems now coming into play as well. So what it's really exciting time now for young people in particular to come into the industry. And just one thought on how you think we can make it a little bit more exciting or compete against the motor industry or the other manufacturing sectors to get the right and the best people.
Yeah, it's proactivity.
Right.
That's the way I would summarize it.
Yeah.
So if you look, I know of companies at the moment, and they've got some great early careers managers who are going out into schools, but with their existing apprentices, stood by them.
Yeah.
Who better to talk to a 16, 17, 18-year-old than a 16, 17 or 18-year-old? And I think that's got to be key. I remember 5-6 years ago now, we were looking at improving the apprentice intake within the business I was in at the time. And we got our apprentices and we ran a social media campaign for them to take a picture with one of their own friends, and their circle tended to be the same age and the same profile, so therefore you were raising the awareness. So I think all of the above. There's so many different ways, and you've got to get creative. And not all the companies in the industry are in a position whereby they can take apprentices, but equally they have to think about an aging workforce and how they're going to fill that skills gap in the future. So yes, it can be done with apprenticeships and early careers, but it can also be done with upskilling existing people, and as I mentioned earlier on, also looking at the late careers development around how do people want to exit the business, because it's not always the same job that they want to be exiting from. So you've got to look at all of it.
And I think what's really exciting about this industry now is we are on social media. There are people, if I'm looking at a leader like yourself, you're a similar age to me, so I can relate to you. If you're looking at 18 to 18-year-old, they're relatable. And I think it's also how we mentor people. I'm not going to mentor an 18-year-old. They think I'm their dad, sort of thing. So it's getting all of that all squared off and away. Well, Asif, finally, I have got you on camera, and thank you so much for your insights today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you.